Charles, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Blake Lively filed a complaint against Justin Baldoni and others in California, claiming sexual harassment.
Is Blake Lively, the seemingly untouchable Hollywood icon, the darling of red carpets and magazine covers, actually capable of masterminding a calculated takedown of a colleague? It's a question that has sent shockwaves through the gilded gates of Hollywood, sparking intense debate and dividing public opinion like few scandals before it. At the heart of this explosive controversy are two prominent figures, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, entangled in a bitter feud that has also drawn in Ryan Reynolds, creating a volatile triangle of accusations, legal battles, and relentless media scrutiny. This isn't just another celebrity spat, it's a high-stakes drama playing out on the world stage with careers teetering on the brink and reputations facing potential ruin. Whispers of bribery, whispers of manipulation, whispers of deeply concealed agendas, they all contribute to a narrative far more intricate and potentially damaging than anyone could have initially predicted. Prepare to delve into the hidden depths of this Hollywood saga because the story unfolding behind the dazzling smiles and carefully crafted public images is far more shocking and far more revealing than anything you've seen on screen.
And let me just say to all of the women out there that are watching, no matter what you do in life, you never, ever, ever go full Amber Heard.
I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation.
The initial detonation came in the form of Blake Lively's explosive accusations leveled against Justin Baldoni. Suddenly, the carefully curated image of a harmonious Hollywood production shattered, replaced by a stark portrayal of a toxic film set. Claims of sexual harassment and the creation of a hostile work environment painted a grim picture, instantly casting Justin Baldoni in the role of the alleged aggressor. The media pounced, headlines blared across news outlets, and social media platforms became battlegrounds for fervent debate. The initial public reaction was overwhelmingly sympathetic towards Blake, positioning her as the courageous victim standing up against inappropriate behavior in an industry notorious for its power imbalances. It was a narrative that resonated deeply, a classic tale of vulnerability versus power, instantly capturing the public imagination. However, even amidst the initial wave of outrage and condemnation, a subtle undercurrent of skepticism began to emerge. Quiet questions started to circulate amongst industry insiders and keen observers. Subtle inconsistencies, almost imperceptible at first glance, hinted that perhaps the story wasn't quite as straightforward as it seemed. The perfectly crafted victim narrative, while initially compelling, began to reveal hairline fractures, suggesting a far more intricate and potentially manipulative game was being played behind the scenes.
To take all of these digs at Justin Baldoni, again, which makes all of us not believe that she was actually harassed, and rather they were moving to try to squeeze her and to eventually just have Blake replace Justin Baldoni.
It's really interesting. A lot of them are just not looking at him at all, even though he's standing and spraying. That's really interesting.
Just when the narrative seemed to have reached its peak of dramatic intensity, a rumor emerged that sent shockwaves of disbelief and suspicion through the entire saga, the alleged $10 million hush money offer. The claim that Blake Lively or her representatives reportedly offered Justin Baldoni a staggering 8-figure sum to simply drop his lawsuit was nothing short of a bombshell. This revelation didn't just raise eyebrows, it detonated the initial narrative, forcing a complete reevaluation of the entire situation. The immediate and unavoidable question became, why? Why would someone who claimed to be the victim of harassment, someone ostensibly seeking justice and accountability, offer such an exorbitant amount of money to silence their accuser? The logic simply didn't compute. It triggered a torrent of speculation about hidden motives, buried secrets, and a desperate attempt to control the narrative at any cost. Was this a sign of guilt? Was it an attempt to preemptively shut down potentially damaging revelations? The sheer magnitude of the rumored bribe suggested a level of desperation that went far beyond simple damage control. It hinted at a calculated move, a strategic maneuver to suppress a truth that could be far more damaging than the initial accusations themselves, adding a layer of Machiavellian intrigue to the already complex drama.
I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history.
All through the text messages, you'll see over and over and over again him saying, I don't want to hurt her. I want to protect her. Let's give her what she wants.
In the midst of this escalating legal and public relations crisis, Ryan Reynolds, often lauded for his quick wit and self-deprecating humor, stepped into the spotlight with a joke that landed with a resounding thud. At a high-profile Hollywood event, seemingly oblivious to the gravity of the situation enveloping his wife and their colleague, Reynolds made a lighthearted quip about their legal problems. The reaction was immediate and overwhelmingly negative, a tidal wave of public condemnation that crashed down upon the couple. Social media erupted with outrage, talk shows dissected the insensitive remark, and even mainstream news outlets questioned the couple's judgment. The joke was perceived as tone-deaf, dismissive, and profoundly disrespectful to the seriousness of the allegations and the potential impact on Justin Baldoni's life and career. Beyond the immediate public relations disaster, legal experts began to weigh in, suggesting that this seemingly flippant remark could have serious ramifications in the ongoing legal battle. Justin Baldoni's legal team could potentially use Reynolds' joke as compelling evidence to undermine Blake Lively's claims of severe emotional distress. The argument could be made that if the situation was truly causing her profound emotional pain, her husband wouldn't be making light of it in public. This single, ill-conceived joke, intended perhaps to deflect or minimize the situation, inadvertently amplified the doubts surrounding their narrative and provided ammunition to the opposing side, transforming a public relations misstep into a potentially significant legal liability.
So the story goes, essentially, he says she didn't even read the book before signing on to the project. Then she read the book and kind of became consumed with it and wanted to basically introduce her own lines and wanted to become a part of the project and rework the script.
Because there are some people who feel like he is the one who's driving all of this
He's
and
pulling
telling
the
Blake.
strings behind.
I don't think that seems very unfair to Blake Lively.
That's
to me,
pretty diabolical.
The scrutiny intensified, and as the public and media delved deeper into the details surrounding Blake Lively's accusations, significant inconsistencies began to emerge, chipping away at the foundation of her narrative. One of the most striking discrepancies was the stark contrast between her claims of being ostracized and emotionally devastated by the alleged harassment and her continued presence on the Hollywood social scene. Photographs and videos surfaced of Blake attending glamorous parties, laughing alongside A-list celebrities, and radiating an air of cheerfulness that seemed completely at odds with her purported emotional distress. These public appearances, meticulously documented by paparazzi and social media, created a jarring dissonance, fueling skepticism about the authenticity of her claims. Then came the highly anticipated release of leaked HR complaints, documents intended to substantiate Blake's accusations and solidify her victim narrative. However, instead of providing definitive proof, these documents raised more questions than answers. Upon closer examination, they were riddled with red flags. Crucial dates were inexplicably blacked out, timelines appeared disjointed and contradictory, and the complaints themselves seemed to conflict with Sony's established HR protocols. Adding further layers of complexity and suspicion, an old Reddit post seemingly unearthed from the depths of the internet resurfaced, alleging that Blake had previously threatened to accuse Justin of sensitive workplace misconduct unless he acquiesced to her demands regarding the movie's creative direction. Each inconsistency, each questionable detail, acted like a crack in a carefully painted canvas, revealing a picture that was increasingly fragmented, unreliable, and suggestive of a carefully orchestrated fabrication.
If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth.
Is that Ryan Reynolds saw that scene in It Ends With Us, and it was a trigger.
While Blake's carefully constructed narrative seemed to be fracturing under the weight of inconsistencies, Justin Baldoni began to strategically deploy his defense, revealing pieces of evidence that directly challenged the core tenets of her accusations. One of the most impactful revelations was the presentation of undeniable proof that, contrary to Blake's assertions, an intimacy coordinator was indeed present on set. This single piece of evidence directly contradicted a key element of Blake's narrative, undermining her claim of being left vulnerable and unprotected during sensitive scenes. It suggested either a blatant misrepresentation of facts or a significant lapse in memory, either of which cast doubt on the overall veracity of her testimony. Even more perplexing and damaging to Blake's narrative was the emergence of evidence indicating that she had repeatedly invited Justin Baldoni to her private penthouse apartment. These invitations, documented through messages and potentially other forms of communication, were explicitly for the purpose of discussing and rehearsing explicit scenes in the movie. This revelation sent shockwaves through the developing narrative, creating a profound and almost insurmountable contradiction. Why would someone who claimed to feel harassed, uncomfortable, and unsafe around a colleague repeatedly invite that individual to a private meeting in her own home to discuss intimate and sensitive material? The implications were devastating to Blake's credibility, suggesting a level of calculated manipulation and a deliberate distortion of events that painted a dramatically different picture of the on-set dynamics and the true nature of their interactions. Justin's counter-evidence, while not sensationalized or aggressively presented, was strategically devastating, methodically dismantling Blake's carefully constructed victim narrative with cold, hard facts and undeniable contradictions.
There's certain things that we know Blake has said about Taylor in reference to that battle that do not sit well with Taylor at all. The big one, dragons.
Yeah. But somebody else who is very connected to this reached out and said, Candace, you're 90% there. You're just missing one thing. And I'm beginning to wonder, and listen, full speculation, no proof, for him to go that crazy.
As the personal accusations and counter-accusations continued to dominate headlines, a more strategic and arguably more cynical theory began to gain traction within industry circles and among astute observers. The potential for a calculated power play centered around control of the It Ends With Us movie adaptation, whispers began to circulate, evolving into more concrete speculation that Blake Lively's motivations extended far beyond simply seeking justice for alleged workplace misconduct. The theory posited that her ultimate goal was to seize creative control of the highly anticipated film project, and that the accusations were a strategic maneuver to remove Justin Baldoni, the rights holder and director, from the equation. This theory, while initially speculative, began to align with a number of observed behaviors and inconsistencies in Blake's narrative. The immense value and prestige associated with a successful film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's massively popular novel provided a compelling motive for a potential power grab. Controlling the project would not only grant significant creative influence, but also substantial financial rewards and industry clout. The accusations of harassment in this context could be interpreted as a calculated leveraging of the #MeToo movement, a powerful tool to exert pressure and potentially force Justin Baldoni out of the project. If Justin were to be found guilty, or even if public opinion swayed decisively against him, the rights to the movie could potentially revert back to the studio or the author, creating an opportunity for Blake to step in, acquire those rights, and reshape the project entirely to her own vision. This darker, more Machiavellian interpretation added a layer of cold, calculating ambition to the already volatile situation, suggesting that the battle was not just about personal grievances but about high-stakes Hollywood power dynamics and the ruthless pursuit of creative and financial control.
What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you insinuating? Like, is that a joke?
Yeah.
I was blown away reading it. I really was blown away and honestly weirded out.
The conflict transcended the confines of legal filings and behind-the-scenes maneuvering, escalating into a full-blown media war. A battle for public perception waged across news outlets, social media platforms, and industry publications. Both sides found themselves embroiled in accusations of orchestrating smear campaigns, attempting to manipulate the narrative and sway public opinion in their favor. Blake Lively, through her representatives and allies, subtly painted a picture of Justin Baldoni as a manipulative figure, actively engaging in a campaign to discredit her and undermine her accusations. Conversely, accusations arose that Blake herself, with the backing of powerful Hollywood connections, was leveraging media influence to shape the narrative in her favor, potentially planting biased stories and suppressing dissenting voices. Justin Baldoni, in a move that was both strategic and seemingly transparent, released text messages exchanged with his public relations team explicitly inquiring whether they were involved in planting negative stories about Blake. The team's unequivocal denial added a layer of credibility to Justin's defense and fueled suspicions about the source of the negative press surrounding Blake. Furthermore, the controversy surrounding a New York Times article, which allegedly presented a heavily skewed narrative in favor of Blake and even altered text message exchanges, ignited a firestorm of debate about media bias and manipulation. The accusations of altered text messages, if proven true, would represent a serious breach of journalistic ethics and a deliberate attempt to distort the truth. The media landscape became a battleground, with each side vying for control of the narrative, employing public relations strategies and potentially leveraging media connections to gain the upper hand in the court of public opinion. The question of who was truly manipulating the story and to what extent became a central point of contention, further blurring the lines between fact and fiction in this complex Hollywood drama.
Essentially, he says she didn't even read the book before signing on to the project. Then she read the book and kind of became consumed with it and wanted to basically introduce her own lines and wanted to become a part of the project and rework the script.
Amidst the swirling accusations and counter-accusations, a significant voice has remained conspicuously silent. Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, the novel at the heart of this Hollywood storm. Her perspective, as the creator of the source material and a figure with considerable influence in her own right, is conspicuously absent from the public discourse, yet her potential role in the unfolding drama is undeniably crucial. Hoover, a literary phenomenon with a massive and fiercely loyal fan base, holds a unique position of power in this situation. Her opinion, her stance, and her ultimate wishes for the film adaptation could significantly sway public opinion and even influence studio decisions. Is she observing the unfolding chaos with dismay, watching her beloved story become collateral damage in a celebrity feud? Is she privately siding with one party over the other, perhaps based on personal interactions or behind-the-scenes information? Or is she strategically maintaining a neutral stance, waiting to see how the legal and public relations battles play out before making any public pronouncements? Her silence is deafening, and in its silence lies immense power. The studio, the actors, and even the public are likely keenly aware of Hoover's potential influence. Should she choose to break her silence, to publicly endorse one side or express her dissatisfaction with the direction of the project, it could be a game changer. This section explores the intriguing dynamic of Colleen Hoover's unvoiced perspective and the potential weight her words could carry in the resolution of this complex Hollywood saga. Her absence from the narrative is itself a powerful element, leaving audiences to speculate on her thoughts and her potential future actions, adding another layer of suspense and anticipation to the unfolding drama. Beyond the immediate drama and the fates of the individuals involved, the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds scandal raises profound questions about the broader landscape of Hollywood and the entertainment industry as a whole. This isn't just a personal dispute, it's a potential microcosm of deeper systemic issues within the industry, exposing the complex interplay of power, reputation, and accountability in the #MeToo era. Regardless of the ultimate legal outcome, the scandal has already inflicted significant damage not only on the reputations of those directly involved, but also on the perceived integrity of the Hollywood system itself. It forces audiences to confront uncomfortable questions about the authenticity of celebrity personas, the potential for manipulation behind the glamorous facade, and the challenges of discerning truth in a world of carefully crafted narratives. The scandal also highlights the precarious nature of reputation in the digital age, where public opinion can shift rapidly and accusations, whether proven or not, can have lasting consequences. Furthermore, it underscores the ongoing tension between creative control and collaborative filmmaking, revealing the potential for conflict when artistic visions clash and power dynamics come into play. Will this scandal serve as a wake-up call for Hollywood, prompting a re-evaluation of on-set dynamics, power structures, and the handling of workplace disputes? Or will it simply become another cautionary tale, a reminder of the ruthless underbelly of the entertainment industry, soon to be overshadowed by the next sensational headline? The long-term implications of this scandal are yet to be fully understood, but it has undoubtedly left an indelible mark, forcing both industry insiders and the wider public to confront uncomfortable truths about the inner workings of Hollywood and the complex realities behind the silver screen. This final section encourages reflection on the broader societal and industry-wide consequences of the scandal, prompting viewers to consider the lasting impact on Hollywood and the enduring questions it raises about truth, power, and accountability in the entertainment world. As we stand at this juncture in the unfolding saga, the truth remains elusive, obscured by layers of accusation, counter-accusation, and carefully constructed narratives. Is Blake Lively, the celebrated actress, genuinely a victim of workplace misconduct as she initially portrayed herself? Or is she a master manipulator, skillfully wielding accusations as a weapon to achieve a more strategic objective, seizing control of a lucrative movie project? Is Justin Baldoni, the seemingly earnest director, an innocent man fighting to protect his reputation and his creative vision? Or are there hidden complexities and untold aspects to his side of the story? The stakes are monumental, extending far beyond personal reputations and individual careers. The future of a highly anticipated movie hangs in the balance, and the outcome of this bitter feud could have significant repercussions for the individuals involved and potentially for the broader dynamics of power and accountability within the Hollywood industry. Will the truth eventually surface, cutting through the layers of spin and deception to reveal the actual events that transpired? Or will this Hollywood drama ultimately conclude with the truth remaining buried, obscured by the machinations of power, influence, and carefully crafted narratives? One thing is undeniably clear. This story is far from reaching its final act, and the unfolding chapters promise to be even more revealing, more shocking, and more deeply impactful than anything we've witnessed thus far. Now we turn it over to you. Dive into the comments below and share your perspectives. Who do you believe in this intricate Hollywood drama? What are your predictions for the ultimate outcome? And what do you think the lasting impact of this scandal will be on the individuals involved in the industry as a whole?